Love's for beginners, ain't no winners. It slips through your fingers, I ain't telling no lies. So F all the drama, F the karma. Just do what you wanna, promise you got time. Be you and keep looking forward. Don't you look backwards and you'll be fine. Come through and say what you need to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being no one's mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Come get your future, know you wanna. She'll never betray ya, she ain't telling no lies. So break the glass ceiling, find your meaning, make truth out of dreaming, yeah. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being no one's mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Be you and keep looking forward. Don't you look backwards and you'll be fine. Come through and say what you need to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being no one's mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. Cause baby, you deserve the best in life.
Meghan's marrying into a family which has, to put it mildly, a dodgy track record on race. It's not Meghan Markle's problem, it's their problem. Meghan's marrying into a family which has, to put it mildly, a dodgy track record on race. It's not Meghan Markle's problem, it's their problem.
Can everyone hear me now? Sorry, there was actually a problem with my headset right there. Can everyone hear me now? Oh, good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a new headset because there's something wrong with the wires with this one. No worries, I will get that sorted tomorrow. Right. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Happy Saturday. Hope you're all doing well. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, please. Are you tired? Because I'm tired. I don't even know where to start today. Like, if you open up the dictionary, they've changed it and there's a picture of of me where there's the word tired. Because I'm just exhausted. The way the press have spun things, I think this is actually the worst I've seen. Really is just the worst that I've seen. Because, you know, it's one thing to radicalize racists, to go after Harry's wife, but this week we've seen the British tabloids trying to deify the Taliban. Someone please explain to me in the comment section how we got here. By the way, if I do cut out at any time, do please tell me, because there is actually a problem with the wire with my headset. So please do tell me if I cut out. But how do we get here, folks? Is this the level to which they have so much hatred for this man and his wife? I'm lost for words. I really am. Anywho, let's say our hellos. And then we'll get straight into it. Because yes, as the title says, what Harry said about Afghanistan was greatly twisted. Drummer Loves, you said Harry lives in California. He has incited a terrorist group. It doesn't matter what else, they always retaliate. So he has invited them to the US over our infamously open border. Drummer Loves a bookworm. Harry has not incited any terrorist group. The British media have spun his words to incite a terrorist group. So please let's get our facts right here. And if anybody wants to troll, you will just be let out the chat today. I mean, I know the trolls love coming in here. For what reason, I don't know. You're obsessed with Harry and Meghan. But just come in here and listen. And increase the ad revenue, please. Don't chat your nonsense. Kelly, we will still buy the book. Yes, we will absolutely buy the book. And read everything in context. Because they've done everything possible to spin everything out of context. Oh. Welcome everyone who's just come in. Oh, I think there's somebody who was it who was in memberships. Alan Bernard. Oh, thank you so much, Alan Bernard, and thank you for the super sticker. You said, when do you think some old woman is going to announce she was the one behind the bar? Oh gosh. Oh, I feel like I don't want to know who it is. I actually don't want to know who it is, because the whole thing just like, when I first read it, I had a little bit of a giggle, but then it just completely disturbed me. I feel like, especially when it comes to men, we don't take these things as seriously. And the fact that, Harry did say that he felt humiliated, and because it was an older woman, you know, I just found the whole thing very creepy. And to be honest, she best not shame herself and come out and say, because I actually do have my I'm not going to say who I think it is, but I do have my suspicions as to who it is. And if it is who I think it is, then I'm even more creeped out. But these aristos, they're perfectly fine jumping into bed with each other with their cousins. So I hope we don't find out who it is, Alan. But thank you for the super chat. Um, so let me scroll through your comments before we get started. Oh, Maria, you purchased my book Passport Ready. Oh, fantastic! Thank you so much. If you do buy my book, folks, do take a picture and send it to me to my travel Instagram and the Nomad, because the book has actually been selling really well, but because people don't send me pictures, I don't know who's buying it. Light side anywhere, just start anywhere, because wow, yeah. Because wow. Oh, yes, the entire squad is actually tired. I mean, what does the UK press think that they're doing? And now you had this army commander coming out speaking ahead before the whole passage in the book actually came out. I'm going to read the passage so you can actually understand what he said in its full context. Light side, we need just any real journalist to call out the dangers of the words they're using to put this man and his wife at risk. There is a red line, and these wicked folks have been, yeah, they've crossed it. This is like, yeah, they've crossed that red line. Oh, this is beyond the red line now. This is beyond the red line. And do you know what? I don't care if Meghan was to slip on a banana and bump her head. I will still blame the British press. Anything happens to either of those two. If Harry gets stung by a bee and gets poisoning, I will still blame the British press. I don't care. Luna, I heard the entire piece and it didn't do anything but speak truth to how they train in the military. You have to see the enemy as less than, sad but true. And he's actually, if you actually read it though, he goes on to say that that way of othering, someone is still problematic. So there's still a level of, respect thy enemy, which is, it's something that they also do teach you. Respect thy enemy, even if you have to take them out, because there's still a human there. All right, okay. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to just scroll through your comments so we can get started. We do have some nice, light-hearted, cute things to talk about today as well. So not everything's absolute misery. But I think this guy here said something that I really agree with. He said, "I don't care about Prince Harry's actions in Afghanistan decades ago or how he lost his virginity. What I care about is how our oligarch-owned press operates today, how it manipulates the public and harasses its detractors. That's what we should be talking about." Yes. And for all of those people who think that this doesn't matter, especially British people who think that this whole thing with Harry, Meghan, and the royal family doesn't matter. As I've said before, you actually don't have to care about Harry and Meghan. You should absolutely care about this. The oligarch-owned press and how it operates. That should be on everyone's mind. Everybody should be bothered about that, because the effect that it has had on British society and continues to have is so damaging. Because if you don't have a press that is focused on informing you and truth, they can spin things to literally control your mind. Whoever controls, the press and the media controls the minds of the people, unfortunately, because most people tend not to think for themselves or believe everything that they read. So I hope, if anything, the people that are sitting there and going, "I don't care about the royal family," I hope perhaps with the Netflix documentary and with Harry's book, that they can begin to think about the British press, especially the tabloid press, and what we can do to rein them in. Because if they can go this far, now siding with the Taliban, um, how much more further are they willing to go? But yeah, this all kicked off because of Spain, and also some bookstores in America. There have been some bookstores in America that did put it out a bit too early. But I don't understand how this happened, why it's being allowed to happen. Somebody tweeted, Spain don't give a F. Prince Harry's book Spare still on sale at my local Carrefour, despite still 3 days before official publication and all the kerfuffle over its premature release. I hope somebody gets sued over this. Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, does anyone have an update on Miss Catherine Whelan? My tweet about this, the Wall Street Journal editor who posted about Prince William's affair, moments later it got deleted, and the Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch. I haven't heard anything about this since. What happened to her? And this tweet really took off. Like, we're coming to over 300,000 views, over 1,200 retweets. So if anybody has any information on that, if anybody's listening and can tip me off, antimalambo@gmail.com, please. Tipsters, come on through to my inbox. Sources. I need sources. I'm an actual royal reporter now. I need sources. My sources. No palace sources. I don't want to talk to anyone in the palace. Legitimate sources only, please. Right, so that's that. All right. So the whole situation with Nganzi Fulani and Sister Space. So after William's racist godmother said what she said to Miss Ngozi, of course, we all remember it all kicked off. And then, as a retaliation, people who took Suzanne Hussey's side then decided that they were going to report Sister Space. So the Charity Commission had finished its investigation into Sister Space and has concluded there were no illegal activities. They will be giving the charity regulatory guidance and advice. So can people now live in Ngozi Fulani in peace so she can continue to save women's lives? And aside from that little tea meeting that Ngozi Fulani had with Miss Suzanne Hussey, we've heard nothing since then. And I hope that this is a lesson to people of color and to any organizations that deal with women's rights, bullying, pretty much just any and all organizations that want to affiliate themselves with the royal family. Cut ties now and don't get involved at all. Because it's very obvious that that little team meeting that they had, that's the end of it for them. And you went through all of that hell for what? Almost had your charity shut down, had threats coming to you. Literally, she has gained nothing from this. And there's been nothing else from the royal household said about this. No offers of money to help fund the charity or expand its work, especially now at a time of recession and the rise of the cost of living. You can't just, throw a sister a check. No. Because you were only invited to the palace in the first place for PR. So charities should be looking at this, and I hope they are taking notes. Joyce Royal Nika is saying his old friends has stuff that they can say about him if it is not the book. So now they're trying to threaten Harry. Do you know what? I'm sure they're probably trying to do that, but based on everything that's come out from Spare, I don't know if there's anything that they can actually hang over Harry's head at this point. I don't know if there's anything that what could they say? Because he's been pretty damn candid, um, maybe even a little bit more candid than he should have been, because now he's got terrorist threats against him. But at least now, I don't see there's anything they can hang over him. And how bad would it be? Any worse than what they probably have on William, on Andrew, on Charles? Let's see what else you have to say before we carry on. Yes, Mabel Jones, they do want the military to go against him. They are obviously very jealous of Invictus. Seeing those crowds at Dusseldorf definitely frightened them. But and like I said, I'm going to read the passage in full. But what Harry said is something that a lot of soldiers say and can probably relate to. So I don't think the military is going to turn against him, or his Invictus family is going to turn against him. But they're definitely using this to try and get the British public, or just the public in general, to turn, because the Netflix documentary um, was a huge success and it did what it was meant to do, and they're very scared of that. Sylvia, my hope is that the US media anchors, commentators, and press will read the book and stop taking notes from what the UK media is reporting. I hope so too. It's going to be interesting to see how the US media behaves after the coronation, because I still do think that some of them, very short sighted, are kissing up because they want access to that coronation. But after the coronation, what is there? There's not going to be any babies or weddings for a while. All right, let me scroll down a bit. Sean, thank you so much for the super chat. You said, I want to know the time span from the time Charles took money from the Taliban to the time he took Harry's security away. I have a theory, and it's not going to be pretty. Yes, and that's another thing that we're going to talk about a little bit more later on in the podcast. That's just wild to me. Also, the timing. I mean, with the money from the Taliban, he could have actually taken it even before. I don't know exactly what the timing was. Obviously, we found out sometime after, but from the reports that I read, unless you want to correct me, um, no exact time was actually ever given. So it could have been some time ago that he took that money. But the fact that he took the money, period, is just it's just gross. Now, the Bin Laden family have said that they've you know have nothing to do with him anymore, and that was the defense that was used. But I just still say it's just wrong. Why is someone who knew that he's going to be the future king of England taking money from that family? Mental. All right, moving on. Okay, on to something a little bit more lighter. Other things written in the book. Prince Harry also revealed that Mariah Carey's music helped him and Meghan get through dark times. He said, my brother would hurl insults at us, and we felt so hopeless. But we had the Rainbow album playing, and nothing beats the transition from Did I Do That to Petals. And Mariah, of course, was interviewed by Meghan for Archetypes. So that is very sweet. We also found out that Harry helped to deliver Lily. According to the extract from the book, Harry bent down with a doctor and delivered Lilibet with his guidance. He also reportedly shares an intimate moment between himself and Meghan after they return home following their little girl's birth. Adorable. Like, this is the type of father I want in my life for my kids. Like somebody who's right there, welcoming his daughter into the world himself. How wonderful! Like this is the type of examples of positive masculinity we need to be seeing and hearing. Like this just really just fills my heart, to be honest. Like this is what I would want. Um, so there's that. Also, oh yeah, actually, I forgot to say this. But the Sun actually posted this. It comes as the Sun scooped the world by getting hold of a Spanish copy of the book everyone wants to read yesterday. We translated the text from the Spanish edition after the original biography was written in English. Therefore, the quotes may not be exact. The prince's hugely anticipated autobiography has already elicited shock and outrage as he makes allegations about being attacked by Brother William. So they outright say that the quotes may not be exact. And it may not be, because of the way it translates from Spanish, things might be taken out of context. So what was the point? Why didn't you just wait until the English one came out? Trashy ass tabloids. Some other things that we're learning. Charles does not like royal women wearing too much makeup. Charles doesn't like contouring, y'all. And he expects to be down with the kids. So it says, talking about the day he prepped Meghan to meet his father, Harry noted that Meghan looked beautiful, saying she opted for a full skirt patterned with flowers. It was all very loving until we got to the makeup portion of the paragraph. Harry reportedly told Meghan only to wear a little makeup because Charles didn't approve of women who wore a lot. So you can't even wear the makeup that you want around this man. So along with the incredibly strict royal etiquette of wearing simple eyeshadow. Wait, so is that royal etiquette that's always been there, or royal etiquette that just Charles came up with? Because that's what it sounds like. So along with the incredibly strict royal etiquette of wearing simple eyeshadow and a bit of lipstick, the king isn't very fond of makeup experimentation. I find that hilarious because if anybody needs makeup, it's Charles. Actually, forget the makeup, honey. We need Botox. We need like an aqua facial blast, crystals, a vampire blood facial, everything. Anyway, it goes on to say, whether it's a preference or the fact that he doesn't want to risk being overshadowed by a female member of the royal family, people aren't too happy with that snippet. I mean, if he thinks that is the makeup that would result in him being overshadowed, and not the fact that he's just boring, delusional. Speaking of overshadowing, Harry also wrote about how his father responded when the Suits actress and Harry grew more serious. He says, Pa might have dreaded the rising cost of maintaining us, but what he really couldn't stomach was someone new dominating the monarchy, grabbing the limelight, someone shiny and new coming in and overshadowing him. Where have we heard that before? He was jealous of his own wife. And then we also learn that Charles says that he did not have the money to spare to financially support Harry and Meghan, and that he feared Meghan would steal his limelight, and that he had experienced that before, i.e. with Diana, and had no interest in letting it happen to him again. And we also learned that, Meghan was buying furniture for Nottingham Cottage, the Nottingham ghetto, the hood that they were living in, using her credit cards before and during her marriage. That Meghan paid for all her own clothing. She paid for her Givenchy wedding dress and Stella McCartney reception dress. She also wore a lot of pre-owned outfits. My girl had money. I was actually working on a Meghan pre-royal life video that I never finished off a while ago, one of the things that I found when I was digging was Meghan had attended some kind of convention or talk. I think Richard Branson had actually gone. Who else was there? I think Jared Leto was also there, and it was all about like investing. And so I'm not surprised that she's taken the decision to invest in, brands like Clever Blends, that uh, that she's working with. Sorry, her and Harry are working with companies like Ethic and investing. Because to me, it seems like this is just a continuation of what she's always done. I am pretty darn sure, not that I have access to Meghan's accounts, but being as business savvy as she is, that she was probably a very smart investor for her to be able to pay for her own wedding dress and the reception dress. Not cheap. So my girl had money. And I'm sure this is what they hated. One of the things that they hated. Because when you're in a cult, which is what the royal family is, they don't want you to be independent in any way. They have to make you completely dependent on them. And I'd be interested to know what, if any, if there were conversations about Meghan's money and her access to that money, what she would be allowed to do with her own money. Did at any point they try to muzzle her access to her own money? Because she would be the first royal woman coming in to that family with her own independent money. Not even her family's money like Kate's, but her own. Hmm. Another revelation was that they didn't ask for any wedding gifts, no surprises there, but donations to their chosen charitable causes, no surprises there. Right, 2 comments before we continue. Yes, Boney Mighty, the military community, they won't turn against him, especially when they see the book. But I think even they probably know like something is up. Crystal, of all of the books written by former soldiers and all the rags put about Harry on his subject, or sorry, on this subject, I call fake outrage. Yes, it is. I mean, guys and dolls, right? Actually, before I get onto this next part, because we're going to talk about Harry and Caroline Flack, but I just want to get this out of the way. When I was in school, on 2 occasions, the army came in. They did not tell our parents that they were coming in, and both times they gave us this shiny pitch about what it meant to go to the army. As children, we did not understand, and they did not explain the wider social political complex issues of war and Western foreign policy. Of course, they wouldn't explain that to us, and even if they did, as children, we wouldn't understand it. But they came in and they gave us this nice, shiny pitch about joining the army. And this caused quite a lot of controversy to the point where campaigners started to fight to keep the military away from UK schools. Because a lot of the times they, or one of the main places that they do target is poorer communities. They go to all schools around the country, but it was found that they were targeting poorer communities for reasons obvious. Because relatively well-off children aren't just going to go running off to join the military. So they came into our schools to give us this shiny pitch. You wanted us to join the army at that time and go and be your killing machines, which is what the army trained you to be. But today, when Harry speaks of his experience, you are outraged. Please spare me your outrage. Right. Okay, I'll get your comments and then we'll go back to that Caroline Flack thing. Ah, Joanna, thank you. Charles took money from the Taliban in 2013. Okay, so it was before, yeah, before Megan even came onto the scene. It was a while ago. Delbert types. They want access for what? Is that what is in that coronation? Nothing mystical anymore. They have lost their prestige. They are evil, nasty, and corrupt. You know, for these reporters, it's a job. It's something on their CV, and they want the access. They want to be in their fancy tents. They want to be in the moment. So that's what they care about. I don't even think they care about the actual story itself. They want a free trip to the UK and to be paid for it. Joan, it's obvious that the rags won't print positive stories. No, they won't, including ones like this, because we've got all the receipts. Supporting families forced to flee Afghanistan. Over the past year, the Archwell Foundation has been working with the Team Rubicon to help welcome families forced to flee Afghanistan into their new homes in the United States together. Yeah, they're never going to mention stuff like that, are they? Sean, you said, okay, what was the time span between... Oh, sorry. What was the time span between him taking the money from the Taliban the first time and Harry getting a bounty on his head? Because I'm thinking Charles is worse than we thought. Well, I'm pretty sure from the moment it came out that Harry had gone to the front line, when it was leaked, there was a bounty on his head. So okay, let's actually, okay, I'll look that up quickly. When was Harry, yeah, we can look that up right now. Was Harry's service leaked? Let's have a look. Or maybe when did it come out? Harry was in Afghanistan. Right, he returned to Afghanistan for 20-week deployment in 2022 to 2012 to 2013. And the other commentator said that Charles took money in 2013. So he was taking money around the time that, or pretty close to the time that Harry had gone back. Serious? My God. Wait, so here it says in 2007 to 2008, he served for 10 weeks in the Helmand province. He returned to Afghanistan for a 20-week deployment in 2012 to 2013. And that person who wrote the comment earlier, you said that that money that Charles took from the Bin Laden family, he took it in 2013. So this guy's son was either going to or coming back from or just back from the battlefront, and he was taking money from the Bin Laden family. Really, Harry, there's no hope for your family. There's no hope for your family. Thank you, Sean, for your donation and asking that question. Yes, Compton, Charles want all the attention on him. Those women are in prison, not even allowed to wear red lipstick. Jesus Christ. Yeah, simply. Megan's a grown woman. I mean, they want to treat these women like children. You know, that explains. No, because even makeup wouldn't help Camilla, to be honest. Need a lot more than makeup to fix her. And even then, you can fix what's on the outside. You can't fix what's on the inside. I mean, it's not like Megan needs makeup to look pretty. Black Queen. So who's a gold digger now, Derangers? Exactly. Megan was no gold digger. My girl had money. Jessica, what girls me is that the wedding dress is on display in London and Megan paid for it herself. Yes, so they're making money for it. They're making money from it still. She paid for it herself. Oh, these people, man. Not even halfway through the first month of the year, and I'm already exhausted. Am I gonna survive to the end of the year? Are we all gonna survive until the end of the year? Book isn't even out, and I can't take any more. All right. Um, Thank you so much if you're just joining the chat, everyone. 1,100 if you hit that thumbs up button, please. Joseph, hey Joseph. Harry has blown the myth of the perfect, never putting a foot wrong, royal family sky high for the wart-filled fast that it is. Yes. I mean, you would have thought that Prince Andrew, Jimmy Savile, Jeffrey Epstein, and all the rest of it would have done that, but apparently not. it, it took for Harry to do it. Oh, Sean, so my thoughts on what I'm thinking is correct. Yes, you are correct. And thank you so much for actually bringing that up. Or else I would have never looked for that information. Oh, thank you so much, Dorothy Ross, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Thank you. Right, let's move on. What else have we got? So many details. Okay, so I'm actually going to read in full what it is that Harry said. Because now we've got whole passages getting leaked. So here we go. Let me just bring it up on my phone, sorry, because can't read it on the screen. Give me one sec. Okay, here we go. Not my brother texting me during a podcast. Bro, I'm busy. Okay. Afghanistan was a war of mistakes, a war of enormous collateral damage, thousands of innocents killed and maimed, and that always haunted us. So my goal from the day I arrived was never to go to bed doubting that I'd done the right thing, that my targets had been correct, that I was firing on Taliban and only Taliban, no civilians nearby. I wanted to return to Britain with all my limbs, but more, I wanted to go home with my conscience intact, which meant being aware of what I was doing and why I was doing it at all times. Most soldiers can't tell you precisely how much death is on their ledger. In battle conditions, there's often a great deal of indiscriminate firing. But in the age of Apaches and laptops, everything I did in the course of 2 combat tours was recorded and timestamped. I could always say precisely how many enemy combatants I killed, and I felt it vital never to shy away from that number. Among the things I learned in the army, accountability was near the top of that list. So my number, 25. It wasn't a number that gave me any satisfaction, but neither was it a number that made me feel ashamed. Naturally, I'd have preferred not to have that number on my military CV, on my mind. But by the same token, I'd have preferred to live in a world which there was no Taliban, a world without war. Even for an occasional practitioner of magical thinking like me, however, some realities just can't be changed. While in the heat and fog of combat, I didn't think of those 25 people. You can't kill if you think of them as people. You can't really harm people if you think of them as people. They are chess pieces removed from the board, bads taken before they can kill goods. I've been trained to otherize them, trained well. On some level, I recognized this learnt detachment is problematic. But I also saw it as an unavoidable part of soldiering, another reality that couldn't be changed. Not to say that I was some kind of automaton. I never forgot being in that TV room at Eton, the one with the blue doors, watching the Twin Towers melt as people leaped from the roofs and high windows. I forgot the parents and spouses and children I met in New York, clutching photos of the mums and dads who'd been crushed or vaporized or burned alive. The September 11th attack was vile, and all those responsible, along with their sympathizers and enablers, their allies and successors, were not just our enemies, but enemies of humanity. Fighting them meant avenging one of the most heinous crimes in world history, preventing it from happening again. As my tour neared its end, around Christmas 2012, I had questions and qualms about the war, but none of these was moral. I still believed in the mission, and the only shots I thought twice about were the ones I hadn't taken. For instance, the night we were called in to help some Gurkhas. They were pinned down by a nest of Taliban fighters, and when we arrived, there was a breakdown in communication, so we simply weren't able to help. It haunts me still, hearing my Gurkha brothers calling out on the radio, remembering every Gurkha I'd known and loved being prevented from doing anything. As I fastened my bags and said my goodbyes, I was honest with myself. I acknowledged plenty of regrets, but they were the healthy kind. I regretted the things I hadn't done, the Brits and Yanks I hadn't been able to help. I regretted the job not being finished. Most of all, I regretted that it was time to leave. So there's a passage in full. And so this is why context does matter. And Omid tweeted something quite interesting. He said, I'm anti-war, so any talk of killing is not for me. But it's wild to see how in 2013, papers called Harry Hero Prince, Action Man, swashbuckling royal, and he spoke about killing Taliban insurgents. A decade on, and now he's the enemy. He's attacking for repeating the same claim. Because at the time, let's be honest, a royal, especially an heir to the throne, going into battle, it was great for the army in terms of recruitment, and so the press were more than happy to have those headlines: Hero Prince, Action Man. But now a complete 360 to the point where we're siding with the people that shot Malala Yousaf in the head. Just wow. What can one even say? I'm lost for words, so I'll go to your comments because I'm sure you've got some interesting things to say. Church Nelly, did they leak Harry's location? This is another thing. Harry's location would have been top MI5 secret information. How was it leaked? Who leaked it? The way both Charles and William are so darn jealous, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody in the palace leaked. An easy way to get rid of Diana's son and Diana's memory completely, if he'd been killed on the battlefront, and any competition from attention. Yeah, Rochelle, how are two adulterers considered majestic? Yes, Valerie, part 99, British Royal Edition. Mental. Collie Campton, go. Your book was sent off on Friday. What do you mean the hardback? I have both the audio and the Kindle, but I need to get the hardback as well because it looks like there's pictures in there. Joseph Bruno, if I were Meghan, I would have told William, put your finger in my face and I swear I'll bite it off and shove it up your ham. And I'm sure William would have absolutely loved that, but Meghan is way too classy. Because we know what William likes, apparently. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. Hope you're doing well, my darling. And thank you, Lydia Barbara, as well. Just seen that on my phone. Linda Lala, I can't imagine the burden on Harry carrying all this knowledge and pain all this time and still doing his best to help others. Yes. And I guess helping others has also been his way of healing. Thank you so much, Maureen, for the super sticker. Thank you, all of you, for your generosity. Oh, can y'all just give me 1 minute? I'm just going to put the music on for 1 sec. Just give me a sec. Okay, thank you. Back to your comments. And a lot of people have been posting the full text. That needs to go as viral as the twisted headlines. I actually think that Harry should sue, because they've created a situation where they're inciting more violence against him and his wife, especially that army commander. Who did he think he was? Yes, Nutty Doctor, you will notice that no American soldier has discussed this. Yes, because the military community there is a lot more respectful of its comrades. Thank you so much, Giselle Penrose. Oh, Baron, if you're in the room, I don't know if he is here, but if you are, hello. Baron actually came into my podcast yesterday, and I didn't even realize until I watched the replay back. I was like, oh my God. I hope he didn't think that I was ignoring him. Just like, as soon as it gets to over 1,200 people in the comments, oh, it's so hard to keep up. Right. But hello, Baron, if you are here today. What else did I want? Was there anything else? No, that was pretty much it. We're going to end it there. It's going to an hour anyway. I'll just finish off with any other comments that you all had. Oh, but yeah, we're almost there, folks. We're almost there. I mean, we already have so many details, but it's still important that we read everything in its full context. Otherwise, we've seen what's happened with these, comments about Afghanistan, and it being such a sensitive and complex topic, and the way the press has just spun it. But we've still got 1, 2, 3 more days, almost there. Deep breaths, everyone. Deep breaths. Love will win. I really do believe that love will win in the end. Yes, Black Queen, I think Harry should sue. The US media joining in with the gaslighting also. Doris, what are your thoughts on the ring? Are you referring to the fact that Harry was holding onto the ring and then somehow it ended up in the hands of William? Well, do you know what? I'm glad that it did, because I didn't want Meghan getting that cursed ring. I do think that ring is cursed. Something about sapphires, right? Sapphires seem to be cursed. The Hope Diamond, cursed. Diana's ring, cursed. Meghan got the Freedom ring that Diana bought herself. I mean, I'm not surprised that William ended up getting the ring, giving it to Kate, because Lizzie's body wasn't even in the ground, and he had Kate rummaging for the jewelry. All right, who's gonna get the last word of the day? Oh, Sylvia, did you mention Carrot? No, I did not. Thank you so much, Sylvia. Thank you. I wish I could give you a super sticker. I almost forgot. Yes. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go over that. So yes, in another part of the book, Harry does talk about when he met and dated Carolyn Flack, who passed away after she committed suicide in 2020. So they met at a restaurant during a night out with a mutual friend in 2009. Harry wrote he was introduced to Flack months after he broke up with ex-girlfriend Chelsea Davy. Describing Flack as a funny, sweet, and a cool person, the 38-year-old said Flack wasn't taken aback that I didn't recognize her. So she didn't have an ego about her fame. She didn't have a big ego, he continued, before explaining how the media was responsible for their relationship ending shortly after. Harry shared, very soon after they pat me and Flack, those photos set off a frenzy. Within hours, a mob was camped outside Flack's parents' house and all her friends' houses and her grandparents' house. Oh my God. So these people set on this woman straight away. Goes on to say she was described in one paper as my bit of rough because she once worked in a factory or something. He continued, Jesus, I thought, are we really such a country of insufferable snobs? Apparently so. So they kept on seeing each other, Harry wrote, because we genuinely enjoyed each other's company, and because we didn't want to admit defeat at the hands of these assholes. Flack, who also wrote about how being described as Harry bit of rough led to the couple calling it quits in her autobiography, Storm in a Sea Cup. Press intrusion had, however, tainted their fledgling relationship irredeemably, adding, we realized it just wasn't worth the grief and harassment, especially for her family. So they did actually like each other. They actually liked each other. He liked, her. She liked him. It was all going well. It was the press. Goodbye, we said. Goodbye and good luck. Good luck. Harry also described what it was like to receive the horrible news that Flack had died, writing that he felt so awful for her family. I remembered how they'd all suffered for her mortal sin of going out with me. She'd been so light and funny that night we met. The definition of carefree. And we all know what would have happened should that carefree character, if that relationship had continued and that carefree character had gone into the institution. The way they would have destroyed that girl. And I never really followed Carolyn Flack's career, but I did see the way in which they presented her in the media, especially when she was dating Harry. They presented her like she was this, almost like a cougar character, going for the prince. And from the way Harry describes it, they were really just two people that really liked each other. And another one of Harry's relationships destroyed by the media. And unfortunately, Flack's life was ended because of the press intrusion. I can't imagine how hard that would have hit Harry. And one of the people who was responsible for bullying Flack quite a lot in the media was Dan Woo Woo himself, who has also bullied Meghan and continues to bully Meghan. Horrid. Oh my goodness. Do you know what, guys? Do you know, I just realized there was actually a slide I missed. Oh no, I don't want to miss this one. Okay, so before we go, there's one more slide. Anne is tired, y'all. Oh God, I can't believe I almost missed this. Right, so this is another thing that came out of the book. The Duke revealed his rift with his older sibling meant Willie didn't want me giving a best man speech according to his bombshell memoir. In a personal revelation, Harry claims he was made to act out the role of best man to spare the blushes of Prince William's two closest friends. The Duke was officially considered his best man at the nuptial and even travelled with his father and future king to Westminster Abbey in Bentley that day. But in the latest of Truth Bombs, Harry declares the best man stunt was awful show. His brother's friends, James and Thomas, gave the traditional speech at the reception. Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me. Harry also says that William smelt like alcohol on his way to the royal wedding. This man was drinking on his wedding day? Doesn't sound like somebody that was very excited to me. Okay, that was really the last thing that I was meant to say. But it doesn't surprise me. And now I've got to ask, who did Harry truly want as his best man? Because if it was up to him, he probably would have chosen either not Cho or there's that other guy. I forget his name from the UK that he's still quite close with. My. Sherry, you bought the audiobook hardcover and ebook, yeah. Giving Harry all the coins. uh, what a corrupt family. Yes, so these people are evil. Joyce just saw on CNN Anderson Cooper will do another program on Monday. Another program with Harry or just him? Yes, Marina, they would have broken Carolyn Flack. Very independent, carefree woman who had a great career going for her. She's one of the most popular personalities. After she got that Love Island gig, she became one of the most popular personalities in the UK. Like she was gonna be like the next Cat Deely. Those of you who are in the UK, like Cat Deely, was a huge presenter in her day. Still is, but she was like the it girl. And Carolyn Flack was on her way to like becoming the next Cat Deely. Stolen from her because of the press. Mystery Talks. Wow, did not know he dated Carolyn Black. Yeah, T. Harry telling it all. Sharpie, will there be anything left for us to read? Well, it's been 3 days and little by little, things have come through. So maybe there will be. I'm sure there's some things that the press aren't saying. That maybe they can't twist to fit a narrative. That we'll find out. And maybe certain things will translate differently when we read it in English. Yes, Wendy, I'm going to read it or listen to the audio rather, regardless of the leak. Yes, KPG, all about how it looks, not how it feels. All of this nonsense about the brotherly rift. The royal reporters, the brotherly rift, and trying to pin that on Meghan. Like, no, it's always been there. All right. I'm going to have the last word of the day, and I'm just going to say there will be another side to this, and as Harry and Meghan always say, love wins. And I do believe that in all of this madness, love is going to win, and that Harry and Meghan are going to come out on top, and the British press are going to sink. And for the sake of all of us, not just Harry and Meghan, for all of us, because especially when it comes to the press, the royal family's family issues are one thing, but when it comes to the press, that needs to happen. The tabloid press, sorry, not the whole press, the British tabloid press, that needs to happen. or we'll never be free. Have a lovely day, evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone, so much for your generosity as always. Both your donations and your time, always much appreciated. Please do take care, and I'll probably see you tomorrow. All right, everyone, ciao.
Love's for beginners, ain't no winners. It slips through your fingers. I ain't telling no lies. So F all the drama, F the karma. Just do what you wanna. Promise you got time. Be you and keep looking forward. Don't you look backwards and you'll be fine. Come through and say what you need to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being those mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Come get your future. Know you wanna, she'll never betray ya. She ain't telling no lies. So break the glass ceiling, find your meaning, make truth out of dreaming. Yeah. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being those mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Be you and keep looking forward. Don't you look backwards and you'll be fine. Come through and say what you need to. Don't let them put you down. Baby, let me tell you what it feels like. Being independent, no trouble inside. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life. Let me tell you what it feels like. Being those mama, yeah, treat yourself right. It's like magic, living like a bad bitch. 'Cause baby, you deserve the best in life.
All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.